Hey mamas, I'm Brooke Miller, registered dietitian, certified lactation counselor, and a mama who has helped hundreds of moms feel like themselves again after baby, boost their energy, mood, metabolism, and even milk supply. Inside of the Postpartum Shift podcast, you'll learn how to take care of your health so that you can show up best for the ones you care about most. Each week, we'll tackle topics like nutrition, exercise, breastfeeding, mental health, and so much more. Plus, you'll get access to guest experts who will share ways to make your pregnancy and postpartum experience easier. Whether you're approaching the postpartum period or you're right in the thick of it, you're in the right place. Let's dive into today's topic. Hey mamas, welcome back to the podcast. Today, I'm going to tell you 5 things that you need to stop apologizing for as a postpartum mom. And honestly, I'm probably going to throw in a few more nuggets here because there are so many things that we as moms apologize for that we should not be. And I hope that this episode really helps you kind of focus on that. And I know I'm actually in the season right now where I am really working through a lot of these things myself. So I am right there with you. So one thing that I have caught myself doing, and I'm sure a lot of you have too, is apologizing for not having a clean house. So if you are in the throes of it, especially if this is not your first baby, so I have just found that, having 2 older boys, it's just chaos. Our house is in chaos at all times. Now we do have 2 times throughout the day where we do pick up. So right when the kids go down to bed, my husband and I pick up together so that our environment is, less chaotic. So that is one thing, the evenings when we're getting the kids down for bed, that is something that is like a non-negotiable in our house. So dishes get put away, they get put in the dishwasher. Toys just get put away. And that is something that really, really helps. But if somebody were to show up to my house midday when my boys are home or right before dinner, they would say this looks like a tornado crashed through here. And so something that I would always feel embarrassed about is if somebody came over unannounced or at the time where my kids were home and playing with toys, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. My house is so messy. And at the same time, it's well, of course it's messy. My kids are home, they're playing, and I'm trying to keep this baby alive. And so my focus is not really picking up toys when everyone's awake. It is about just keeping everybody sane and alive. So something we need to stop doing as moms is apologizing for a messy house. Something that we did this postpartum experience that we've never done before is we've outsourced some things like deep cleaning. So we have cleaners that come twice a month. Now, this is something that some of you might be listening and say, hey, it's not in our budget right now. Or this isn't something that I necessarily need. And that's totally fine too. I just knew when we got pregnant with number 3, I was starting to feel very overwhelmed in our house. We live in a very small house, especially for 3 kids. We have beyond outgrown this house, and our plan is to move in about a year from now. Anyway, something that really helped this postpartum experience was, I had this long conversation with my husband and I was like, hey, I know that I don't need to apologize for having a messy house, but I also know that I do not do good work when I'm in chaos. I also know that my anxiety gets worse. I get more stressed if I'm in a cluttered or chaotic environment. And I said, with 2 kids and going on 3, there's just a lot of things in our house that are not getting done. I was like, when's the last time that you or I mopped the floors? And he's like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, yeah, it's been a long time since the floors got mopped. And so I finally was like, okay, we need to move things around in the budget so that this is a priority in this season of life. That doesn't necessarily mean that this will be a forever thing, but it is so nice to have this right now in this season of life. And so maybe this might be something that you may consider maybe in the first 3 months postpartum. So this doesn't have to necessarily be something long-term. Something else that my friends gifted me is they were like, instead of buying you a baby gift, we know how much you hate laundry. So my friends pitched in and bought us a laundry service for a few months. So, I think it's 8 different visits, and it's a lot of clothes that can fit in this thing. And so anyway, I'm in the process of utilizing this laundry pickup service as a wonderful gift for my friends. And that was a perfect gift for this season of life of just just taking one thing off my plate. So anyway, number 2 the second thing that we should stop apologizing for as a postpartum new mom is declining social invites. Now, I am not saying you should decline every social invite. I am not saying that you should decline going to things that you really want to go to. So absolutely not. There are some things that I did not decline postpartum because I really wanted to go do it and make it happen. And that's awesome. But really like looking at and being particular about what you say yes to in this season of life and what you say no to. So I always kind of look at something as if somebody asks me to do something, if it is a hell yes, I'm in, I want to do it, then I will do whatever it takes to make it happen. If somebody asks me to do something and I'm like, oh, like I have this newborn, I'm really tired, I haven't been getting good sleep, I don't know if I want to do it, then, a lot of times it's just like, hey, I can't make it work this week, but do you want to get together next week? Or do you want to do something else in a few weeks? And so it's okay to say no to things. And again, people understand, especially fellow moms, like they get it. I've had mom friends that have told me like, hey, I really want to see you, but it has been, a really hard week with the kids. Can we get together in a week instead? And I will say, absolutely. Heck yes. Like no worries. Something else that we need to stop apologizing for as new moms. And this is a caveat. I'm saying this one out loud and I'm saying this to myself because this is the biggest one I have been struggling with and I am really working on it. But it is, as a recovering people pleaser, this is a big struggle, is setting boundaries with people, with friends, with family, with just people in your life. Setting boundaries is really hard. And I do feel like as you become a parent, more and more things tend to stand out that you're like, this is not okay. And if you are like me and you are a recovering people pleaser, maybe you've never really set boundaries with people before. This has just been a really big challenge for me this time around. And I am just like cheering for you if you are also the same way. I know some moms have no problem setting boundaries and I am truly a little bit jealous of you. And this is just such a beautiful skill to have in general, but this is a wonderful skill to have, especially as a new mom. And for you, setting boundaries may look like telling people, hey, if you have a cold, you can't come over and see my baby, or I don't want you kissing my baby, or, just like anything that makes you feel uncomfortable with your kids, especially with a newborn, setting those boundaries is really important. So absolutely do your thing. I am cheering for you. And also I am like in it with you. So send me a message if you are struggling with this and we can chat about it more. If you've been wanting to reach your healthiest weight and feel like yourself again postpartum without having to sacrifice your favorite foods or your milk supply, I've got a free workshop just for you. Inside of this free workshop, you'll discover how to boost energy, mood, metabolism, and even protect your milk supply. You'll learn common mistakes that moms make that actually cause exhaustion, mood swings, low milk supply, and weight loss resistance to become worse, things that moms don't even realize. And you'll learn the proven 3-step method to heal your hormones and metabolism after baby so you can go from surviving to thriving postpartum. Plus, as a free gift, you'll get my postpartum snack guide when you come hang out with us. All you have to do is click the link in the show notes to save your seat today. Spots are limited. See you there. Number 4 is having time alone for yourself. I think a lot of times we apologize for wanting to go take a shower by ourselves, or we apologize for wanting to get in a workout by ourselves, or wanting to go, get a mani-pedi, or go to the hair salon, or whatever it may be. Go for a walk outside by yourself. Go to Target by yourself. And we need to really stop apologizing for this as a mom. So at the end of the day, us getting a few minutes by ourselves, getting some time alone, even if that means grocery shopping alone, that is in some way just filling up our cup. And we should never be apologizing for taking care of ourselves mentally and physically. This is something that I did struggle with initially with my first son, but this time around, I'm like, I actually am not struggling with this at all this time around. I'm like, hey, I need some alone time. I need to go work out, or I need to go for a walk, or hey, can I go to the grocery store by myself? I have no problem, asking for time alone, and I do it unapologetically. And so that is something that it did take some practice initially, especially the first time around, but you will not regret, asking for time by yourself and not apologizing. And something that really has helped me this time around with that is my husband and I each understand that we each need alone time. And so I will say, hey, this weekend, I want to go get a pedicure, or this weekend, I want to go meet up with one of my girlfriends for coffee. I'm going to do that on Saturday at this time. What would you like to do for yourself? What alone time would you like to do this weekend? And so him and I actually coordinate almost every weekend where we try to do something by ourselves. And he loves to go fishing. So sometimes that means he, wakes up really early and goes fishing for a few hours by himself. And then that may mean, me just going to the store alone, or going to a coffee shop by myself, or meeting up. Usually it's like meeting up with a girlfriend or something like that. And so we try to give each other, each alone time, because we both understand that we each will show up better if we are each getting time for ourselves. And then number 5 is, a lot of times we as postpartum moms apologize for our body and how it's changed. And so maybe you've apologized to your spouse and you're like, I'm so sorry, I haven't lost the baby weight yet. Or maybe you're not even doing it in such a direct way, but maybe you just feel, like you need to apologize, or you need to justify how your body has changed. And again, that's not something that is anybody else's business besides ourselves. And even if your body is not where you want it to be yet, even if you're not feeling super comfortable with where your body is at, it is okay to just acknowledge it, but you don't have to do it in a way that is apologetic. So I haven't lost all the baby weight yet, right? I just had my baby 7 weeks ago. I haven't lost all the baby weight yet. I'm also not apologizing for that. I'm also not trying to like justify it to anybody in my family or my friends, like, oh, hey, I haven't lost the baby weight yet, I'm sorry. Or like, I know you probably don't find me attractive anymore, or anything like that. And I think a lot of times that can happen, especially between your intimate partner and yourself. So I've seen so many moms who are like apologizing to their spouse or significant other because they haven't lost the baby weight yet, or they've apologized for how their body has changed. And at the end of the day, we don't need to apologize for how our body has changed. We don't have to apologize for, not losing the baby weight or anything like that. It's just your body is where it's at right now. And it's okay to acknowledge where it's at, but we also don't want to do it in a negative way. So those are just a few things that we can stop apologizing for as a mom. A few other things that came to mind is apologizing for how we feed our baby. So I see this on both ends. I've seen moms who apologize for using formula, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry I'm using formula. And they like are trying to justify their decision. And then I also work with some moms who they apologize for needing to breastfeed in public. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry. Do you mind if I feed my baby right here? They're really hungry. And it's like, girl, just feed your baby. Just feed your baby right now. You don't need to justify how you're feeding your baby, when you're feeding your baby, in what way you're feeding your baby. And I don't know. Especially this third time around, I feel comfortable. It's like, if my baby is crying and needs to eat, she will be fed. I don't care who's around. I'm not moving to another room to make somebody else feel comfortable. I'm whipping a boob out wherever I need to whip a boob out. And if you're uncomfortable with that, you can leave the room. That is like completely my attitude this time around. But I know a lot of moms are not at that place yet, and that's okay. A lot of times I'm also seeing moms who are apologizing for their birth plan. So they'll say like, oh, I really want a home birth, or I want a hospital birth, or I want to be induced, or I want the epidural, or I don't want the epidural, whatever it may be. And I see so many moms apologizing to others and trying to justify to others why they want that. And at the end of the day, it's your birth plan. You do whatever you want to do. I love getting an epidural when it works. My second son, my epidural failed and it was horrible. But my epidural did work the first and third time around. And, I like it. I like getting an epidural. I am also not going to shame or judge anybody who has a different birth plan than mine. And I totally understand that all of our birth plans can be great. There are so many different ways to give birth that is amazing and beautiful for whatever you want it to look like. But I see so many moms justifying and feeling guilty and apologizing for whatever their plan is. Like they feel guilty if they get induced, they feel guilty if they have a home birth, or they feel bad about it, or whatever it may be. And so we do not need to apologize for, what our birth plan is, what our feeding plan is for our baby, anything like that. And so there's just so many things that we as mom apologize for. And I think especially I grew up in the Midwest, so it is funny. It's like a running joke that if I am at the supermarket and I accidentally bump into somebody, or somebody accidentally bumps into me, I'm immediately like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. And somebody could literally run into me and I would apologize and say, I'm sorry. So I think a lot of times, especially those of us who grew up in the Midwest, a lot of times we are just in the habit of apologizing, even when it's just something funny that's not even our fault or something that doesn't even need to be apologized for. And I think so many of us just naturally do that. And so really having awareness with, when am I apologizing? Do I need to be apologizing for this? And can I just say like, hey, this is my birth plan. This is how I'm feeding my baby. This is when I need alone time. This is why I need alone time. These are my boundaries. I'm setting these. Hey, my house is a little messy right now. Instead of saying sorry, just being like, yeah, my house is a little messy right now. I have crazy kids that are running around and it's not necessarily at the top of my priority list. Or maybe it gets cleaned later. And when I have peace and quiet and when I want it to be clean and I want to be in a less chaotic environment, it'll be clean. And so anyway, there's just so many things that I'm seeing new moms apologizing for and, walking on eggshells for. And at the end of the day, it's your baby, it is your family, and you deserve to live your best life in a way that works really well for you and your family. And it's okay if it's different than how you were raised. It's okay if it's different than what your parents think is right. It's okay if it's different than how your friends are doing things. It's okay to just own it and say, hey, yeah, this is how we're parenting. This is how we're setting boundaries. This is what our house looks like. And there is absolutely no shame in that. Just be okay with being unapologetically you in this phase. And I promise postpartum is that much easier when you have that attitude and that mindset. So I'm cheering for you, mama. I hope that you have a great postpartum experience. And I hope that you have more awareness with maybe some areas that you might be apologizing at. And I'm right there with you with setting boundaries. So we can work on that one together if you're also struggling with that. All right. I'll see you in the next episode. Exercise is crucial for our overall mental and physical health, especially during pregnancy and postpartum. Something that has helped me stay really consistent with strength training and yoga at home during nap time is the Expecting and Empowered workout app. I love that I can choose how many weeks pregnant or postpartum I am, and the app tells me exactly what to do. Plus, there's cardio, yoga, and strength training options for new moms and moms to be. You can go ahead and click the link in the show notes to get 7 days free and also save 15% off the annual option when you use promo code Nutrition for Mamas. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and listening to the Postpartum Shift podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you could share this episode with a mom friend and leave a written review. This helps the podcast reach and help even more moms. Come say hi over on Instagram at Nutrition for Mamas.